Welcome students. This is the second part of the topic branching instructions of 8085 microprocessor. In this video you will study about call, return and restart instructions. After which I will tell you the important concepts and frequently asked questions from the topic. So please watch the video completely and thoroughly and do not forget to subscribe the channel for more contents. So let's start with the topic. So these are the instructions which you will study in this video. So call and return instructions, these are associated with the subroutines, and these are two types, unconditional and conditional. As you have already seen the unconditional and conditional jump in my previous video. After this I'll tell you the RST instructions. This RST stands for the restart. These instructions are associated with the interrupt programming. So let's start with the call unconditional. The opcode for the unconditional call instruction is call and operand is 16-bit address. This instruction is used to transfer the program sequence to call a subroutine located at the memory location specified by the operand. If you don't know the exact location, you can use some label or name. Let's understand this instruction with the help of a mini program. For this I am writing here the memory location and then hex codes and then the instructions of the program. Let the program is starting from the location 1000 and the first instruction is MVI A32 hex. It means load this accumulator with 32 hex number. So there must be some opcode for MVI A instruction. Next location will be 1001. Here microprocessor will take this 8-bit number. After this next location is 1002. Here I am writing the instruction call 2000 hex, which means transfer the control or call a subroutine which is located at the location 2000 hex. So now you will provide the opcode for this call instruction, and then at the next memory location you will give the lower 8-bit memory address, that is 00 hex, and at 1004 memory location you will provide higher 8-bit address of the memory location at which the subroutine is written. Now after this the memory location is 1005. Here I am writing an instruction, let it be ADI 05 hex. It will add the contents of accumulator and this 8-bit number. So at this 05 the hex code will be some opcode for ADI, and at memory location 1006 it will be this 8-bit number. So this is a small program and then halt. What will be the process to call a subroutine? The first step is push the contents of the program counter onto the stack. Okay, so let the stack location be 2099 and after this there is 2098 and 2097. So pushing the program counter value. So program counter is showing the memory location of the next instruction, which is 1005. So this memory location will be pushed onto the stack. So first higher byte, that is the 10, and then lower byte. So now this address of the next instruction is saved, and in the second step the program counter is loaded with the 2000 hex value. It means start executing the subroutine. So this is the whole process. Later on I will tell you the use of return instruction to returning back into the main program and executing the next instruction. So let's proceeding with the conditional call. In this conditional call instructions there are some conditions based upon which the microprocessor will decide whether to call a subroutine or not. Or not means to execute the next instruction. So these conditions are decided by the conditions or status of the flags, as we have seen in the jump instructions. So for every flag, two call instructions are associated. Except the auxiliary carry flag, all the flags are checked. CC and CNC, these are the call instructions associated with the carry flags. So if the carry flag value is 1, it means call if carry. If the carry flag value is 0, then call if no carry. And same, if the sign flag is 0, then call if positive, sign flag is 1, then call if minus. And for parity flag, parity even, parity odd, and 0 flag, if 0 flag is 1, call if 0, and 0 flag is 0, it means call if no 0. So, and one more thing is, students, for every conditional instructions, whether it is conditional jump, conditional call, and next you will see the conditional return instructions. For every these conditional instructions, before these instructions there must be some logical or arithmetic instructions will be executed, because of after that the flags will be updated, and hence it can check the condition or status of these flags, on which the microprocessor will decide to transfer the control or to execute the next instruction. Okay, so rest process is same. If the condition is true, then it will take 5 machine cycles and 18 T states. If it is false, it means condition is not satisfied, then only 2 machine cycles and 9 T states. Now moving ahead, I told you that all call instructions must be accompanied with the return instructions. So these return instructions are written into the subroutines to return back into the calling program. So let's see the first return instruction. It is the unconditional, means there is no condition is specified for returning from subroutine to main program, and it requires 3 machine cycles and 10 T states. Now let's see what is the process of returning back from subroutine to the calling program. So this return instruction, which requires no operand. So this is similar to the process pop program counter, as you have seen in the unconditional call instruction, that you have used the stack pointer to hold the address of the next instruction, that is 1005. So when you want to return back from the subroutine, you need to retrieve that address from the stack pointer. So you can say that let this be the stack and its location 2099, 98 and 97, and these are the contents. So popping back from the stack, so the first it will take back this 05 hex, and this is the lower 8-bit address of the program counter, and then it will take back this 10. So the complete program counter value is 1005, and you can see that this is the our next memory location of the next instruction which is to be executed. So now I hope I made myself clear. Returning operation, how it is performed. Moving ahead, next is conditional return instruction. In conditional return instructions, once again there are some conditions associated with the flags, except the auxiliary carry flag is associated, and based on these status of the flags, the microprocessor decide whether to return to the calling program or execute the next instruction. Okay, so if the condition is false, then it requires only 1 machine cycle and 6 T states. Otherwise, if it is satisfying the condition, then it will return back to the calling program, and it requires 3 machine cycle and 12 T states. Now the next one is restart instructions. These instructions are associated with the interrupts, which I will discuss in my upcoming video. So RST is the short form of restart. This is the opcode, and it has operand of only 0 to 7 numbers. For example, RST4. What it do? It is similar to the 1 byte call instruction. It means that it will also transfer the program execution to certain locations, and these locations are the page 08 locations. So RST0 will transfer the control to this address, RST1 to 0008 and RST2 0010. You can see that there is difference of 8 bit between two consecutive locations. Now let's understand how these instructions are executed. So as I told you that these instructions are equivalent to 1 byte call instructions. Although these are not call instructions, the calls are related to the subroutines and restart are related to the interrupts. So in the call instructions, what you have seen that before executing the subroutine, it will first push the contents of the program counter onto the stack. In the same way, the restart instructions also push the contents of the program counter which is holding the address of the next instruction onto the stack, and then the microprocessor will transfer the control to these address which are associated with their specific RST instructions. So this is all about the restart instructions. Now let's see the important concepts of the topic. First one is call instructions, which are used to call a subroutine located at the memory location specified by the 16-bit address. And if you don't know the exact location, you can use label or some name. Next, the process of the transferring the control to the subroutine is equivalent to the pushing of the program counter onto the stack and then loading the program counter with the address mentioned in the call instruction. And next is, there are two types of call instructions. In the unconditional call instruction, whenever it occurs in the program, it will call the subroutine. And in conditional call instructions, it will check the condition or status of the flags except the auxiliary carry flag, and if the condition is satisfied or true, then it will call a subroutine, otherwise it will execute the next instruction. All the call instructions must be accompanied by one of the return instructions in the subroutine. Next is return instructions. So return instructions are used to return back from subroutine to the calling program. And what is the process? It is equivalent to the popping of the program counter value from the stack and then going back into the main program and executing the next instruction. It is also two types, conditional and unconditional. Except the auxiliary carry flag, every flag will be checked whether to return or not to return. If the condition is true, then it will return back to the main program, otherwise not. And the last one is restart instructions. These instructions will transfer the program execution to one of the 8 locations of the page 0, which means that every restart instructions are associated with one memory location where the address of the service routine is saved. And its process is same as we have seen in the call instruction, that it will first push the contents of the program counter on the stack and then loading the program counter with one of the 8 location of the page 0. After this, the microprocessor will execute the service routine whose starting address is mentioned at one of these 8 locations. These instructions are used in conjunction with the interrupts. And the last, these instructions are inserted using external hardware. Students, there are some RST instructions which are also generated internally, but that I will discuss in the interrupt topic. Now let's see the frequently asked questions from the topic. So the first one is differentiate between call return and push pop instructions. And the next is write a delay subroutine using register pair BC, clear 0 flag without affecting any other flags and return to the main program. So in this instruction, first load this register pair BC with some count and decrease this register pair, because you're going to use this register pair as a counter. And for clearing the zero flag, you can use OR instruction and then check the value of this register pair. If the condition is satisfied, then fine, otherwise keep on jumping and decreasing the value of this counter. And you can take the help of writing a mini program to show the how you have called this delay subroutine using call and return instruction. And the last one is explain the process of executing an RST instruction. And students here mention that first it will push the contents of program counter onto the stack and then load the program counter with the memory address which are associated with the specific RST instruction. And in these memory address, the starting address of service routine is saved. So this is all about the call and return instructions. There are some RST instructions left which I will cover in my interrupt video. I hope students you like the video, so please subscribe the channel for more contents, and if you have any queries regarding microprocessor 8085, 8086 and microcontroller 8051, VLSI design, VLSI EDA tools, analog electronics and digital electronics, etc. You can write me in the comment section or mail me. My mail ID is given in the description of the video. Thank you so much and have a nice day.